Like always, there are two types of voice that are emerging from Pakistan. Type 1 that still believes that their country's military is the strongest in the world, and Type 2 that takes a more intellectual and realistic approach. Ahmed Malik, who is a defense and security analyst based in Lahore, writes, "Armed with Meteor missiles and a highly sophisticated electronic warfare suite, New Delhi's Rafale acquisition threatens to tilt the balance of power in South Asia in the IAF's favor." He adds, "The Pakistan Air Force has been following the Indian Air Force's modernization program with keen interest, but budget constraints mean that Islamabad's chances of acquiring a fighter jet of similar capability are slim." Mr. Malik also mentions that the Indian Air Force is equipped with aircraft that are both qualitatively and numerically superior to much of the PAF's inventory. As India's economy is becoming bigger, its military muscle is constantly growing as well. The country has more money to spend on defense, and it's unlikely that Pakistan will ever be able to match India in monetary terms. But as far as the acquisition of Rafale is concerned, why is Pakistan feeling so vulnerable? The Pakistani defense and security analyst writes, "In the event of an all-out conventional war, the PAF's limited frontline air assets are at risk of getting overstretched." More worryingly for Islamabad, the Indian Navy operates a sizable independent air arm which can be utilized in a conflict scenario to target Pakistan's coastal industrial hub of Karachi. The much smaller Pakistan Navy does not operate fighter jets, instead relying on the PAF for aerial maritime strike operations. Well, this is an interesting observation, but does it mean that Pakistan has given up and is not doing anything to modernize their military? No, it doesn't. Syed Zain Jeffrey of Islamabad tells how Pakistan depends on China for the upgradation of their fighter jets. The China-Pak nexus becomes even more interesting as due to India's massive size and power potential, America is doing everything to woo the South Asian giant so that it can counterbalance China. But on the other hand, China can't depend on a much smaller nation like Pakistan to counterbalance India. Qian Feng, who is from the research department of the National Strategy Institute at Tsinghua University in Beijing, writes that India feels more confident by strengthening military cooperation with the US and its allies. This imposes a relatively large threat to China's security and also makes it more difficult for China to deal with similar issues in the future. So, in the current scenario, considering China's own insecurities, it becomes even more unclear how China will rescue Pakistan when the dragon itself feels vulnerable and threatened just by the thought of America and their allies' cooperation with India. As far as India and France are concerned, this development has brought the two countries even closer.
Deadly aircraft, you might call them, they are both beauty and beast. They are superb flying machines being flown by the best pilots in the world. We'd like to thank Dassault for delivering the aircraft on time, the French Air Force and the French government for all the support they've provided. This is going to add a great deal of strength to our air power and defense preparedness, but it is also a powerful symbol of the strategic partnership between India and France.